You waste money, I waste money, we all waste money as Magic the Gathering players. And not waste money like set it on fire, although you might as well be, but we spend money on things that are at their peak, that are the most expensive they'll ever be, and it's preventable. It requires patience and it requires some strategy, but you can do it and I can do it, and we can save ourselves a lot of money, get more expensive, rarer, more valuable, more fun to play cards for cheaper if you're just careful and like I said, strategic. Hi, my name's Nick. Today we're going to walk through a player's guide for saving money and essentially just growing the value of your collection, making your dollar stretch as far as possible to play and enjoy Magic the Gathering. Let's dive in. This perspective, I must admit, is mostly from that of a Commander player or somebody who plays casually, someone who plays Eternal formats casually, because we're going to be talking about old cards and new cards and when is the right time to buy things. This video is going to have two sections. One is on saving money and the other one is on making money, because both are important and both are options as players inside of this game. And so we're going to talk about saving money first. There's a lot to it. I'm excited to share with you. Let's dive in. First off, with saving money, a couple pro tips. Pro tips like, guess nowhere to go. Stomping Ground is one website. There's lots of these, and their names escape me, but Stomping Ground's a good one. They advertise on Facebook, and that's how I found out about them. But they have deals. They always have deals, and these are deals on sealed stuff. And, I guess one of the pro tips, right, is buy singles, don't buy sealed. But if you're going to buy sealed, get sealed at a discount. Let me move my screen around so you can see. You can see here, these Modern Horizons 3 play booster boxes are at distribution cost. That is cheap. That is a good deal. Bloomborough, these are at, normal kind of market-esque prices, but these are good deals. These are good deals on good boxes. Where to get stuff cheaper, sometimes it's cheaper on TCG Player. You need to check, you need to look around, but often it's not. And unless you want to be part of a Discord group or Patreon group or whatever that offers special deals, sites like Stomping Ground, not a sponsor, but just somebody that I bought from and been very happy with, they're great. And so just something to watch out for. Next thing I want to talk about is the timing and the cadence. There is a smart time to buy things like a Bloomborough Play booster box. Once again, we're still talking about sealed booster boxes. We're going to get into singles in a second here. But there's a smart time to buy stuff, and then there's a less smart time to buy stuff. This is a website. This is mtgstocks.com, not a sponsor. Very cool website where it's not exact. There's some variance in their data, and I think they have like a paid version, so maybe the paid version they actually give you the accurate data. I don't know, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good. And this is showing you this history. Check this out. Bloomborough, people were buying Bloomborough boxes for $200 a box once upon a time. Fairly recently, right? Yeah, this is just earlier this year. And then look at this. The price goes down. And today on TCG Player as well, but here on Stomping Ground's website, $145 shipped. Well, sorry, that's before shipping. If you spend $500, you get free shipping, which is a lot of money. But anyway, so a lot of money for a player, I should say. If you're buying stuff in bulk to open it, it's not too hard to do. Which, by the way, I think, toploaded.io, these Ninja Turtle decks, $50 each, might be an opportunity. To grab 10 of those. I'm going to look into that. Anyways, sorry. This is for players. This isn't for the flipper, scalper, evil people. This is for players. I get distracted. So this is just to point out that there's a good time to buy stuff, a bad time to buy stuff. Same thing with Lord of the Rings. If we take a look at the history here, if it'll pop up, check this out. You could have bought this deck set for $350. Somebody did. That's how it gets into this price range here. You see the 23 items sold from $304 to $350. Somebody bought this for $350, and that was just a couple months ago. And then you look, somebody bought this for $200, and then today you can buy them for $225. There's a right time to buy things and a wrong time to buy things. Well, Nick, how do you know when is the right time? you have to be a little savvy with it. You need to know when the reprints are. And there's a couple of channels that are really good for this. Anon is a great channel for this. There are Discords that you can join and be a part of that are a great place to be, and you can ask questions like this. I would recommend any of the Discords actually, but Kitchen Table TCG. In fact, let me pull up the list. I got a comment on my on one of my videos that was like, what Patreon should I join? And I'm hesitant to say this is the one, but I made a list. And so these are the Patreon people that I'm aware of. There's Louis with Kitchen Table TCG, Rob with RNG Games, Rudy with Alpha Investments, Final Trade, I can't remember that guy's name, Kevin with Rogue Deck Builder, and Anon with Anon. And these are all programs where they offer subscriptions. Now, if you buy products, if you are deep into Magic and like spending hundreds of dollars a month, these Patreon, Discord, whatever type programs are a good deal. They really are. They'll save you a lot of money. They have great communities. Often these individuals have Discords that are free to join, but then there's a paid tier. And so even if you're not going to do the paid tier, doing the free to join stuff is good. You should check out their YouTube channels, and then they'll have links to their Discords and other things that are free. And then if you're interested, you can do the paid versions too, which I do. I do the paid versions of multiple of these, and they're incredible. I really enjoy them. I'm also somebody who spends a lot of money on Magic cards every month. And so that is that. All right, so let's talk about singles. First off, actually, let me shout out. So Joel R. Magic has a great YouTube channel that goes over what I'm about to talk about, which is the cycles of cards, when things are good to buy. I haven't heard Joel R. Magic talk a lot about reprints and when sealed products hit lows, but he talks a lot about singles, when singles are at their all-time low, and now's a good time to buy. Because this is the thing, and this is the overarching theme for all player stuff. As a player, you're going to spend money on Magic. The question is just, how much value are you going to get for your money? You want to buy when things are low, and then, sell when things are high, or just enjoy it, right? You don't have to sell anything, although I will get to that, but you can enjoy it. You can buy the cards when they are the cheapest they might ever be, or at least when they're a good price, or at least when they're lower than they will be in the future, right? And so Joel R. Magic is a YouTube channel you should check out as a player. Really cool stuff. Love his content. That being said, let's get into it. There's a lot of cool cards out there. There's cards like Shieldred the Apocalypse. If you want to make yourself a target at a game of Magic, you should play this card. And you can take a look. So this is just identifying, so if I'm a new player and I'm I want to make everyone target me at my commander table, I look up this card, and then the first thing you do is you look up the price history. Oh, look, this card bottomed out at $60 9 months ago. And now it's $100. So what's the takeaway here? First off, this card is heckin' expensive. Second off, if you want it, now's probably the cheapest it's going to be. It's now's the time to pick it up. Obviously, the ideal time to pick it up was 9 months ago, but that's not an option anymore. Now is the time to pick it up. Moving along. What is good to buy right now? It's the cards that came out 6 months ago or more sometimes. We're going to take a look through some examples. But check out Avatar: The Last Airbender. And this is the kind of content Joel R. Magic is really good at. But these cards, they're not the hype. They're not the things everyone's looking at. These boxes are plenty available. They're being opened at some decent rate. I guess not fast enough because the boxes are plenty available. But this is a set that in my mind, when I was thinking what should I buy stuff from? I should buy stuff from Avatar. That's where my mind goes, because this is a set that's out of the limelight, that's readily available at distribution. Let's check it out. So I'm looking at some of the cards. Some of the cards like Wan Shi Tong, incredible card. I bought a copy a while ago, and I might have bought it at a decent time too. And so, you take a look at this history. It peaked at 60-ish bucks, and now it's $40. But it doesn't look like it's on any kind of downward trajectory. So similar to Shieldred, if you're going to buy this, now is probably the time to buy. The walls of bossing say, look at this card. Does anything scream fun commander card more than other permanents you control have indestructible? Very fun. Very cool. Similar thing, except this card is going down. You can see that it was selling for 25, 30, at some cases 40. Someone paid $40 for this card. Now it's going down. Now it's $20. Is this a good time to buy? Probably. Check out this seller though. Oh, you can't see it on this screen. Okay, here we go. This seller, Black Flag Vault, who has 0 feedback. And you click on their account and you say, what are you selling, sir? Interesting. Anyway. Okay, so beware of sellers with 0 feedback, although it's probably fine. They're probably just they're probably a viewer of my channel who's like, I'm starting off and I'm trying to sell at low prices. And here I am being like, don't buy from him. Oh, I'm a monster. All right. So, Avatar, a set that's come out. So now, are any of these like incredible pickups right now? No, I haven't shown you. I mean, the wall bossing say might be like a good deal right now, but none of these cards that I've shown you are like, obviously this is the time to buy this card. Ooh, Redirect Lightning. This card is so good. You played in your mono red deck and then somebody's like Force of Wills you and you're like, Redirect Lightning, take that. $10 card beats a $60 card. Yeah, what is this price history? Yeah, it's kind of, this card's kind of flat. Now it's probably a good time to pick up the special art Redirect Lightning. Gosh, that's cool. Okay. Add to cart. Ready? Boop. Add to cart. I'll optimize later. Okay, so there's, Avatar's not the only set. There's other sets where it's like its age makes it a particularly interesting pickup. Something like Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy, these cards were on fire 9 months ago, right? These cards were expensive. They were scarce. Now it's a little bit of a different story. We can check these cards out and do similar exercise. Buster Sword. Let's check it out. I bought a copy of the Buster Sword. Oh no, maybe I opened it. Anyways, look, bottom out around $30. What can you get it for right now? $36. That's probably a good price. If you're looking for the Buster Sword, if you're ever going to pick it up, it's probably not going down anymore. This is probably as good as it's going to get. That's the story that this graph tells, in my opinion. Vivi. Vivi's a fun card. This is another card where if you want to be the target at your commander table, you can pick it up. And check out this graph, man. Like, somebody spent $148 on this card. That's crazy. But then it was like $45, $55 for the longest time. And now $25. $25. And it seems to be kind of going up a little bit potentially. So what's the takeaway? Now's a good time. If you're ever going to pick up a VV, now's a good time. Was it a good time back when Final Fantasy came out? People thought so, right? People wanted it and people bought it. And that's good for those people, right? But that's not the best for you and your wallet. Your collection can have way more value in it if you're patient about the cards you buy. You can buy things when they just release, and that's fine. And in fact, some things when they just release, it's their cheapest price, right? Like sometimes cards come out and then they just spike up from there. So, if you are just convinced that a card's price is the lowest it's ever going to be when it just comes out, go ahead, go and buy it. But odds are you're better off waiting 6 months. And so if there's money burning a hole in your pocket, if you're like, I want to grow my collection now, I want to buy cool playable cards now, take a look at Final Fantasy. Take a look at Sephiroth, Fabled Soldier, that hit its low around $20. Now it's back up to 30, but it's probably not going back down. Now's a good time. Pick up Sephiroth, Fabled Soldier. This is the way. This is the way to think about growing your collection, spending your money on Magic if you're trying to get the best bang for your buck. Like I said, there is a premium you have to pay if you're going to get stuff right at release. And that's okay. If you want to pay that premium, that is totally okay. But if you're really savvy with your money and really want to, make your collection grow with the most coolest cards ever, you might want to look at Modern Horizons 3. Modern Horizons 3 came out in 2024. That was almost 2 years ago. And the boxes are just readily available at distribution. And you can check out cards like Ocelot Pride that have been flat, kind of bouncy, for years. or a special copy of Kalia the Vast, which I guess has kind of gone up recently, but it's just going to keep going up. I mean, oh my gosh. Okay, this Ulamog. So, okay, I got to cut away because check out my desk. I've got a sorting tray, which I'm not talking about selling yet, but these are Modern Horizons 3 cards from a case I opened, and I opened up a $100 foil special art Ulamog the Defiler. This is one of the most beautiful cards I've ever seen, and you're kind of getting justice right now. Kind of, but of course it looks better in person. Oh my goodness. Okay, right. What was I saying? So, Modern Horizons 3, these cards are at decent prices. You know, you take a look at this special copy of Ulamog the Defiler, the non-foil copy, $40, $41. And this is much better. Well, I guess not too much better, but better than it was right when it came out, or a year ago even. It might have been even more 2 years ago. So that's the way. That is the way to think about it. The way to think about it is what isn't in the limelight right now. What is cool? What is powerful? What could I add to my deck? I mean, Ugin's Labyrinth is like a $10 card right now. It used to be like 20, 30, $40. Ugin's Labyrinth is a cool card. Eldrazi decks are still cool. It's still fun to build it, but it's just not what people are focusing on right now. And because of that, you can get a huge discount. I mean, you know, if you weren't around back in 2024, Final Fantasy is just a better example. Everybody wanted Sephiroth, 9 months ago. Now nobody's thinking about it. If you have $30 and you say to yourself, oh, I can buy like 2 premium priced mythics from Secrets of Strixhaven, or I can get the premier mythic from Final Fantasy, $30, what do I do? If you're trying to make your collection, you're trying to get the best bang for your buck, then get the stuff that's a little older, still just as cool, if not more cool. Copy of Sephiroth, another card that'll get your table to hate you, but it's cool, it's powerful, it's a fun card, and I think the people at your table need to get over it. Okay, checking my notes, seeing if there's anything else I want to talk about on saving money. No, that's the gist. It's basically just buy low. Buy when the prices are low. Like I said, you can do whatever you want, but you should be a savvy buyer and know what you're doing. If you want to spend extra money to buy a copy of every card from Secrets of Strixhaven when the cards are at their peak, you can go ahead. And good for you, do what you want. Like that's the value of life is, I mean, truly, you can find such confidence and purpose and drive in life as you come to terms that what you want is what matters and that you're going to do what you want. So good for you. That being said, if you're looking to save money to get the most amount of cool, fun, playable cards for the best bang for your buck, follow channels like Joel R. Magic, not a sponsor, and take a look at sets that came out 3, 6, 9, 12 months ago and buy the cool cards from there. It's fun. It is fun to buy the premier cards from Edge of Eternities or Duskmourn or Modern Horizons 3 or whatever, because they're at good prices, and to just wait. And in 6 months, the cards from Strixhaven are going to be relatively cheap, and that will be the time to pick up all the Emerituses and whatever else you want to get, all the Paradigm cards. But right now is not the time. It's the time to wait. So that concludes the section on buying. Let's talk about selling. You have Magic cards. You are a player. You have decks. And if you're anything like me, you accumulate more cards than you're able to play with very quickly. I have a case where I'm able to carry 11 Commander decks. I did the math because I play Commander like once a week, and I usually get in 2 games, which means that every month I'm playing about 8 to maybe 10 games of Commander, which means that I'm playing each deck maybe once a month. Actually, less than that, which is not a lot. When there's 100 cards in your deck, you're only going to see maybe 30 cards each game. That means that in 3 months, it takes 4 months to see all the cards. This isn't actually how it works, but it takes like 4 months to see all the cards that you have. Now, if you have more decks than me, it's even less so. You have so many cards in your collection inside of decks that you just never play with, which is okay. If that's your prerogative, good for you. But if you're like me, that might bug you a little bit, where it's like, hey, what the heck? I have all these cards, but they're not actually doing anything for me. And not only that, but there's commander decks you probably own that you're not even excited to play with. And there's also, beyond that, there's commanders that you want to build. You want to build decks, but you're not even enjoying the decks you already have. What are you going to do? And what my solution to this problem is selling. Sell the cards that you don't play with. Sell the cards that you don't want to play with. I mentioned this in another video, but I had a commander deck of Hearthhole. A very cool deck. It's a lands matter deck. It's Jund, black, green, red. And its commander has an ability where when you sacrifice lands, every opponent loses life. So you can get this big board state and then just sacrifice all your lands to certain spells. All your opponents lose 20 life and you win the game. And very cool. It can be very explosive. It was quite strong. It was an optimized deck. And, bracket 3 or 4 or whatever. I don't know what the brackets are. I just play with my friends. And they understand that Hearthhole was a scary deck. And I say was because the thing was I wasn't a fan of the play pattern. The problem was every turn I was playing, or multiple times a turn, because you could play multiple lands or play lands from your graveyard. Play a land, crack, fetch for a surveil land, play it, shuffle your library, place your library down, surveil, put in your graveyard, pass the turn. It just takes forever to fetch and shuffle and fetch and shuffle and fetch and shuffle. Not cool, in my opinion. I mean, I say that. If I sat down at a table with anybody and they're playing like 5 fetch lands on their turn, no, I guess that would be kind of annoying. I was going to say that it wouldn't bug me. I don't mind someone playing fetch lands, but yeah, in a Hearthhole deck where you're going to end up playing like 4 lands a turn and you're just like playing fetch lands from your graveyard over and over again. Now, if we're playing like competitive commander or whatever, yeah, that's just part of the game. But for casual, it's just a little ridiculous, in my opinion. So yeah, I guess it would bug me. But and so that's the thing is I'm like, okay, this is not a play pattern I love. Let me get rid of this deck. And what does that mean? It means that I'm going to take out all the cards that I don't want to put in other decks and that I'm not going to use or play with or think about, the cards that I don't even love, and I'm going to sell them. It turned out there's like $300 of those. And I didn't realize that, but it's just like a lot of these cards went up in value. A lot of them just whatever, I bought them. I don't think I spent $300 on the deck. And that's the thing too, is as a commander player, when you buy good cards, and if you're like me, where you're buying them at good prices, at relatively low prices for the card's price history, then your cards are going to go up in value and your deck's going to be worth quite a bit. And if you fall out of love with that deck, it's okay. You can sell the pieces and parts, and then boom, suddenly you have a chunk of change that you can invest towards a different deck or towards a booster box or whatever. Have fun. So that's what I'm doing. I'm selling one of my commander decks, and I'm thinking about building another one. Now, selling, I'm like, you just sell, and that makes it sound simple. Obviously, selling is a little complicated. Not everybody has like the full selling setup already set up, right? Because it takes a lot to sell the cards yourself. You've got options. There are stores out there close to you. There's likely a store that will buy your Magic the Gathering collection, and it'll buy it for 50, 60, maybe 65% of market price, which is a pretty cool service. I could have taken my $300 of commander cards, taken it to the store, handed it to them, they scan them, check them, make sure they're real, whatever, and then they say, we'll give you $150. And I could be like, sweet, thanks. Boom, take that 150, done. Easy peasy. If there's no store close to you, there's people out there that are willing to, well, okay, I guess that's the next step. Store is the easiest. Stores that will buy your collection. Whatever's the easiest, though, is going to get you the least amount of money. And so there's kind of 3 levels to the scale. There's the store that makes it the easiest, but you'll get the least amount of money. There's selling it to somebody. And this is harder to do. You can sell a collection, and if it's a decent collection of cards, there are, I won't call them evil, because in this context, they're actually doing you a big service. But there's like resellers out there, like myself, that will buy collections from people for a percentage of market. I generally buy collections for 70%. So I'll get somebody who will post, or there'll be somebody who posts on Facebook Marketplace, and you could do this, right, with your cards. You can say, hey, I have a collection. The market price is $1,000. I'm willing to sell it for $700. And somebody like me will reach out and be like, yes, sir, and bring you $700 cash, and ching, cha-ching, and done. And now you've just made a lot more money, right? If you took that $1,000 of cards to a game store, they would have given you $500 or maybe $600 or $650. But instead, you got $700. Pretty cool. But of course, there's the hassle of you needing to post on Facebook Marketplace and find someone to sell to. So there's that. There's a fly. So annoying. Okay, so do you have other options? Yes, you do. One thing, let me call this out too. Just because you scan $1,000 of cards does not mean your cards are worth $1,000. Let me explain. The more expensive a card is, the easier it is for a buyer or a seller to justify spending the market price on that card. If you have a $100 card, it's going to be a lot easier for you to sell it for $80 than a situation where you have $101 cards. Nobody will spend $80 on $101 cards, but there's a lot of people who would spend $80 on one $100 card. Does that make sense? So if you have 1,000 $1 cards, it's probably not worth $500. It might not even be worth $100. To some people, that's just bulk. And in bulk, the price would be like 4 cents a card or something like that. And so just beware. There's a lot of people who have their collection. They scan every single 20-cent card, and they're like, I have $1,000 of Magic cards. And then they go to a game store, and they're very disappointed to find out that the game store will only give them like $10 for everything. And they're like, oh, this game store's trying to scam me. It's just the reality that it is much harder to move 1,000 $1 cards than it is to move one $1,000 card. And so because it's harder to do that, harder to sell those $1 cards, there's a premium attached to buying them. And so sellers just aren't going to get as much money from that. So that being said, there is a way that you can get the $1 value for your $1 card, and that's for you to sell it yourself on TCG Player or eBay. And that's where the third option comes in, is being a seller. I sell my cards on TCG Player. And what's interesting is that when you sell, you don't even get 100%. You get 85%. And so, I could have sold my $300 Commander cards to a local game store and gotten $150 or $170 or something like that. I could have sold it on Facebook Marketplace and gotten $230 or $210 as I sell for 70% of market. But instead, I sold on TCG Player and I got $255 after fees. But then there's also shipping that I have to spend. So let's call it like $230 or something like that. So I really only saved myself like $20-$30. Is that right? It's got to be more. Anyways, so instead of getting 70%, I got 80 or 85%. I guess finding a buyer at 70% is harder than I'm making it sound. But anyway, if you want to sell your collection to me for 70%, let me know. But you can also sell your collection yourself and spend money on shipping and fees, but get the most amount of money from your collection as you possibly can. Realistically can. Obviously, the best deal you could ever get was just to like sell each individual card on Facebook Marketplace, pay no taxes, no fees, and no shipping. That's the dream, but that's a lot of work. I love TCG Player. I think it provides a tremendous service, and I love selling my own cards myself. I love maintaining as much of the value as possible, and it's easy. It's relatively easy to do, but it does require materials and supplies. I have videos on that. In the link in the description below, there's links to Amazon stuff, and that's the same stuff I buy to package and ship and sell my stuff. I can show you my mess of cards again. These are all going to turn into envelopes that will get shipped out. Here's the pile of black cards. And a lot of these cards are worth less than $1. Ooh, special guest dismember. So good. So cool. Yeah, it's like the majority of these cards are like worth less than $1, but I'm selling them. There's also buy lists. Buy lists are highly underrated. There's some really good ones out there. Card Kingdom. So anyways, lots of ways to sell your stuff. Although buy lists, that's another tier, but some buy lists will pay you just as much as you could sell it for on TCG Player. And then some buy lists for some cards will pay you like, 30% of market or something like that. But it's convenient. It is convenient and easy to just sell it in one place, and you don't have to haggle or sell on Facebook Marketplace. Anyways, so a fourth way, you can sell yourself. You can also buy list. Although buy lists won't buy everything either. So there's another downside. But yeah, that's the gist. I recommend selling. I recommend being a seller. Open an eBay, open a TCG Player, sell some of your cards, get that money back, reinvest it into the hobby, or put it into other parts of your life. But if there's cards that are just sitting there that don't provide you any value, you can do the Marie Kondo thing. You can pick up your foil Necrobloom and ask yourself, does this bring me joy? And if the answer is no, you can sell it and get money. And actually, a foil Necrobloom does not go for very much, but that's okay. Cool. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or would like me to talk about anything else. But yeah, thanks for watching. Subscribe.